So why this green transformation is required? So if I talk about the uh, United Nations report on specifically SDG 7, which takes affordable and clean energy. So it says that as per current rate of electricity consumption, there would be estimated 660 millions, right? If we are anticipating a population of 8.1 billion as on date of the world, out of that 660 millions will remain without an access to electricity. That means out of 8,000 million population, 660 million will be without the access to electricity, and there would be 2 billion people that will continue to rely on detrimental, that is fossil fuels, which are very, very harmful. So this is the kind of a data which is very, very alarming. If we don't work in this direction, then obviously in years to come, we won't be having a place to survive or place to look for. And it is very, very evident now that every year the temperature is increasing. The global warming is coming up in a big way. When you see the newspapers every summers, you see that this is a record-breaking heat, and it is breaking a record of 10 years, previous 11 years or 12 years or so, and temperature is rising maybe a 1 or 2 degree, higher than the previous years as well. So when we have to live in this space or live in this earth, we have to definitely work for our betterment, our quality of life. So these UN SDGs reports are very, very alarming on all the SDGs part. And that is why, the whole world is focusing on these SDGs. So when we talk of the green campus, that is involving the adoption of sustainable practices, initiatives we have to work for about higher education institutes. Now, when we say this should be, our campus should be a green campus, that means we should have all the sustainable practices that can be really implemented, or that is being really implemented, in our campus. So the education institutes are the ones who should be the role model for other organizations as well, because we are having the stakeholders who would be the torch bearers of the next category. So all those students to whom we are training, they should be trained, they should be sensitized about these SDGs and how they can achieve. So that is very, very important for us. So if I talk of other SDGs, there are a lot more SDGs as well, which are related to this clean and green campus areas. In my presentations, I'll be having the focus areas, which are three major areas that we'll be discussing upon. One is the key attributes of model, clean, green, and smart campus. So there are a few keywords I have mentioned: clean, green, and smart campus. Second focus area in this would be technological solutions for cleanliness and sustainability. Again, it is important aspect. And thirdly, we'll talk about the smart learning spaces. So these are the key areas which we'll be discussing throughout the presentation. And anytime you are most welcome to contribute your inputs into this, because this is the kind of area where we have to collaborate and work together. So inputs from all the members would be really appreciated. Now, if I talk of the key attributes of model, clean, green, and smart campus, there are four focus areas. We should have a sustainable buildings. We should have a sustainable transportation. We should have a waste management system, and we should have a water management system. So if any higher education institute is working in all these four directions, that means we are on a way to become the model, clean, green, and smart campus. When we talk of the sustainable buildings, it should be the building which is sustainable in the sense of consuming less energy. It should be using the renewable energy resources, and it should be designed in a way so that there are no electricity required, almost negligible electricity required. It should be self-sustained either through the solar systems or through any other renewable energy resources. When it comes to the sustainable transportation, that means we can use a transportation system apart from the system which is using the fossil fuels, that includes petrol, diesel, and other natural gases as well. So sustainable transportation means we can move into the electric vehicles, or we can go in for the hydrogen vehicles as well, which is currently, being coming by the automobile industry. It is being launched in a big way. Third aspect is the waste management. Now, there are different resources for the waste management, different resources that through which we are having the waste generated. It can be a bio waste, it can be paper waste, it can be plastic waste, which are recyclable. Some are non-recyclable as well. So we have to cater to all such kind of waste that is being produced by the campuses, at least. If I'm not talking of the other areas, but at least we should be able to manage the waste of our own campuses. Then coming water management. Water management is important, that reuse of the water, cleaning of water, maybe a sewage treatment plant can be applied in this area. So these are the four areas which are rather the attributes which are leading towards the clean, green, and smart campus. So I'm showing few glimpses or the pictures that we are doing in the campus. There is a rainwater harvesting well, because we are on the foothills of Himalayas. So generally we have you know high rains as compared to other plain areas which are near to our campus. So being a location specific, we have got a rainfall of around 30 to 40 mm also. So we have the rainwater harvesting system through which we collect all the rainwater and recirculate it. Then we focus on the green buildings. So in the second picture, you will see that we have the walls which are green walls. So this has been deliberately made to keep the environment clean. The third one is the electric cart. So these are operational in the campus and they are used regularly for transportation from one place to another. So we don't have any vehicles, the vehicles which are non-electric that are commuting into campus. We don't have. We have only the electric carts that are, carrying the people from one place to another. Another initiative is the vermicompost that we are having, and the next one is the you can see the garden which are hydroponic plant that we are having. So considering the fact that we are having a limitation of space everywhere, so the vegetables and you can say the salads and vegetables are being grown in this way. So if I talk of the hydroponic plants, so they need actually a specific type of a soil on which these plants can be grown. And the last one is we have the sewage treatment plant. So the water is recycled once it is treated for various use. Of course, may not be for a drinking purpose, but for rest of the cases or rest of the usage, maybe watering of plants or maybe for using in the toilets and all, we use these kind of this water which is processed through STP. Now, again, I'll talk about few things when we talk of a green campus, because you must have heard the word green, which is almost used everywhere. Green campus, green city, and say green beautiful premises and all. So everything we talk about is the green. Even on the emails we put it's just save trees, send the emails, make a campus green. So the green words has got a significant meaning everywhere when it is being used. We talk of the green space, we talk of green movement, we talk of green people, and we talk of green energy. So I will discuss all these four areas where we are, using the adjective green. When it is a green space, so almost it is expected that 40% of the area, of the total area of any building or any organization, it should be covered with the green, say lawns, parks, or vegetation, or trees, or whatever. So 40% of the area should be green area and uncovered area, not covered by the buildings. So on the left, if you see, this is our campus, and green is showing the green gardens, parks, or the green areas that we have in the campus. So otherwise, the people who are staying in locations, maybe in the high-rise buildings and all, they can also go in for the green spaces by putting up plants, which are in the vertical nurseries you can talk about. So the vertical plantation can be put in these areas. That is again give a very soothing effect, specifically when we talk of the green space in these areas. Now, green movement is very important. Any initiative that is taken by the individual or by any organization comes under the green movement. A lot of us being into the university where we are in touch with all the students, it is important for us to educate our students to focus on the environment, to focus on the green movement. So green movement can have any such initiative which is related to the environment, which is related to the sustainability. I'm talking of few ones over here. The plastic-free campuses. We always, put on the our boards and all that. This is a plastic-free area, plastic-free campus. So what can be done in that? So there are cloth bag dispensing machines that can be put. Obviously, government is taking its steps and taking an initiative to put it at a public places. But we being the university, we can always start this practice to put a cloth bag dispensing machine for the students, for any other stakeholders who are coming to university campus. So that is kind of the movement that is required, because a lot of sensitization is required for this. To make it a success, the education that we are giving to the students, to the other stakeholders, will make a great impact. So this is one initiative of a plastic-free campus we can take. Another is recycling of a paper. That is important because a lot of us are using paper in abundance when we have to make our records, make our papers and keep the records, make the files and all for any purposes. A lot of paper is being used, and then after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we discard those documents. And sometimes, we have the rough sheets available with us. I'm talking of the offices that we have in the university. Sometimes you have to take a certain printouts, and then you have to discard it. So on average, if we discard, say 2 or 3 rims of a paper, if I quantify those, so we can recycle this paper by putting a recycling plant that can be easily put on the campuses, where we can reuse these papers for various purposes. So that is recycling of paper, which is very, very important. And maybe we can recycle another plastic waste as well. So if I tell you on this part, on the left picture that you have with the stairs, and below that stairs, we have a green path, that has been made by the bottles, plastic bottles. So that is the actually passage that has been made by using the waste bottles. So that is the usage that we have done. Then you'll see in the second photograph on the bottom, there are tires, and planters have been grown on these tires. So these are the kind of initiatives that you can take, and you can tell your administrative staff or the staff into infrastructure, those who can take care of such initiatives. So these are the things that can help, eliminating the plastic waste in the campus. Rainwater harvesting, I've already talked about, which is very important for all of us, because water is going to be a big, big challenge or scarcity in few years to come. And you must have, seen the crisis in Bangalore area, where a lot of news came, in last month, that people are without water for so many days. So the days are not far where everywhere in the world the people will be like, you know, craving for water, and there would be a scarcity. So we have to, plan for this. We have to take some action for reusing the water by doing the water treatment, and then through rainwater harvesting as well. Then coming to the zero discharge campus, it is important that we should focus or aim for a zero discharge campus where we can have all the discharge, whether it's a plastic, whether it's a biodegradable discharge, or whether water, there has to be absolutely nil discharge. So at our campus, we are trying to achieve this. Rather, we have already achieved that there is no discharge of any of the resources that we are having. So for the, I've specifically mentioned here the biogas plant. So in campus, we have the biogas plant where we use the, biodegradable waste, which includes the food waste as well, that is being there from the kitchens, from the hostels, and although the quantity has been reduced well with the sensitization to the students, because once the students, come to campus, sometimes they don't like the food, so what they do is they just simply waste it. So sensitization is important for the students, as well as, the waste that is being generated. It may be, a few kgs, not more, but then it can be, composed into a, say, fertilizers or any other useful means. So that should be the focus, and that all initiatives are green initiatives, and we call it as a green movement, because involvement of not a single person, not a single community is required, but it has to ingrain from each and everyone who is the part of the organization. So then it takes the movement kind of a thing. So it has to be a collaborative effort. So if I talk of green people, they are the students, the faculty members, the teachers who are actually working in this area. So I think everyone might be having the NSS units, the NCC units who are working greatly in this area. So they can be given the task of taking care of the, say, villages or the areas nearby to whom they can support and they can handhold. So, like, if I talk of the NSS units in our university, we have adopted 5 villages near to our university. And in those 5 villages, the students, the NSS volunteers are working very closely for any of the initiatives that do have to take. Starting from even the coronavirus things, they educated the members over there how to safeguard themselves through online, to offline, by going there and sensitizing the people as well, by distributing the essentials, food items to them, and then by distributing the bags, the paper bags, the cloth bags, which can be reused and which can be recycled. So all these people are involved in making the campuses green. So we call them as a green people. It involves the faculty members, involves the students, involves members, and even the people who are working for its betterment. Then, say the last photograph, the second column, if I show, that is a paper recycling plant. You will see one machine which is being operated by a person. So they are the staff members who are working in the paper recycling plant. And the file covers, that the bags that we used, they are being prepared by the staff members after recycling the paper. So this is how they are also connected with the environment. They are also contributing hard for making this environment green. So all these people should be tagged as a green people. So we need to identify the people who are good in this area, who can take leads, who can be part of green movement. They all are green people, and this is how the initiative, the movement can start, by growing it further with the help of other members or with the help of a green people. So another thing in the green campus is green energy. I've already talked about the electric carts and all. The picture you are seeing of the building with the solar plants, the solar cells which have been put on the building. So almost 30% of the energy is coming from the solar energy sources. In the second column, you are seeing the launch where the student is sitting and working. So this is a specific solar launch that was designed by our students, and the patent was filed for it long back. So now this solar launch can be used, for the students. It's just like a place to sit can be put on the gardens, put in the lawns, or everywhere in the campuses where the student can sit. The lighting as well as the charging points are made operational with the help of a solar energy. So these kind of initiatives can be taken by the students and by the faculty as well to generate the green energy. Again, the biogas plant that is being used, I think I'm sure that in all the campuses, most of these facilities will be available. But generally, we don't appreciate the fact that how much we are contributing in this green environment. We know that there are the facilities available in the campus. We know that there are certain things going on in the campus, but being into academic side, we generally don't focus onto this. Right? So it is important that we focus on these facilities, we appreciate these facilities, and then we sensitize our students. So being a faculty member, it is our great responsibility that we sensitize our students on all these green initiatives. First, we should be, conversant with all these. We should be appreciative of all these, and then only we can, tell to our students that how important this is for the survival on the earth. So now this is the second focus area. I'll mention the technological solutions for cleanliness and sustainability. How we can go about it. Education and research are the two areas where we can focus on for providing these solutions. By education and research, there are certain, the courses specifically defined for the students who that is focusing on environmental sciences, that is focusing on SDGs and all. So all these courses, apart from the regular core courses that our students are studying, these courses are very, very important. So in that case, being into education sector, we have got a very good opportunity to educate the students to contribute in this direction. And we being into education, we are doing a lot of research in the area. So all of you might be doing, all the persons who are doing their PhDs, you can pick up the area related to sustainability. So that is how we can contribute. So if I talk of a few things, the waste management, through the education, we can sensitize the students to produce less waste. Now that waste can be a paper waste, that can be a food waste, that can be e-waste, right? And plastic waste, of course, not mentioned because I've heard it earlier. So plastic waste is again a challenge. So we should sensitize our students to produce less waste. How we can do that? When we quantify the things, then everyone knows. When we tell our students their grades or marks, then they understand where they need to improve. So when we tell them that how much waste they are producing, how much quantity every day they are adding to the environment, which is kind of damaging the environment, that will be kind of an alarming situation for them. Because if we talk in terms of figures, that will be important. If we tell them just in a words, it may not make an impact. So sensitization is important. Way to sensitize that we have to see. There is a waste treatment. We have already discussed that how we have to treat this waste. Certain things we can treat at our own campuses. Certain things we have to take the help of external authorities and the government to get rid of that waste. So that is specifically the e-waste that we are talking of, because we cannot use or consume the entire e-waste. So we have to take the help of authorities to take care of this e-waste. The second important aspect on the technological solution is conservation of resources. How the resources can be conserved. The major resource is the energy, the electricity, also we can say. So we can encourage our students to work on the systems which are IoT systems, Internet of Things system, which can provide the smart lighting system, smart irrigation system, and smart classroom system, where you can control the entire energy of in the form of maybe LED bulbs, in the form of ACs and fans, in the form of smart boards and all, or other resources as well. So that can be controlled with the help of Internet of Technology. So that is important. The digital resources we can use, which will again reduce the paper. One important thing I would like to discuss here, because when we talk of digital resources or e-resources, to conserve the paper, we have emails, we have WhatsApp messages, and we have other things. But generally, one thing, when we talk of the emails, when we talk of the say text messages and all, it's a common habit that we see that mail we have received and we have to send a reply to it. So what we do the reply to all. I mean, if there are 10 people in the email, we tend to give to reply to all. So it is important that reply should be given to only the person to whom it is meant for. Why it is important, why it is helping in this energy conservation is, when we do the reply all, lot many things would be processed at the back end. Server, instead of receiving a one email, server will have to process 10 emails. So each and every processing costs time, costs memory of the server, and costs the processing of the server. So the processor has to work that fast to process all these things. So we can avoid unnecessarily tasks on the server. So, for example, if there are 1,000 employees in one organization, and if 1,000 of them gives reply to the mails, keeping 20 people in the email reply, so that means 20 into 1,000. So 20,000 emails we are generating, which is extra, which can be avoided. Now, these 20,000 emails have to be processed by the email server, which is actually a computing machine. So more power the machine would be taking, more energy it would be requiring, and more heat it is going to add to the environment. So if we talk of all these small little things, it is making an impact to the environment. So we deliberately we need to identify these the sources which are adding to the global warming, and then we can tell to our students that how it is important to reduce these kind of things. So if we use these IoT systems, if we use this smart lighting system, smart irrigation, you must have seen in certain hotels, you must have seen in certain farms, the agriculturists are using the smart irrigation system. So they generally lead to 30% less energy consumption as per the reports. So we are saving 30% of the energy. Now, if we are consuming less energy, that means to generate that electricity or energy, we need less of resources. And what are the resources for generating electricity? One is the water, so we can save on the water. Another is the coal or the fossil fuels, which are used in the thermal plants. So we can, reduce the consumption of coal as well. And there can be another, nuclear power points as well, power generation units as well. This is still okay, but then we can, curtail that as well. So if we are able to reduce the energy usage, so that means we are contributing a lot to our environment. Now, important aspect is how we can go about it in education and research. One aspect we have already talked, that you educate your students, offer them certain courses related to sustainability, and students as well as the faculty members can work in the research field in any of these areas. You may have a specific lab setup, which is a sustainable lab, you can say, which can work on all these SDGs areas, and which can, encourage students to come up with the innovative ideas to help achieving that SDGs. So we can focus on when we talk of the teaching, learning, and education, we can focus on the problem-based learning. And it is important that how you design your problems. So, in your pedagogy, design the problems which are actually related to achieving those SDGs. You can focus on, based on your streams, maybe if you're from a pharmacy, you can focus on one particular area of, say, good health. If you are from the computer science area, you can focus on the smart cities and innovation, industry innovation, and all. So in all the SDGs, there are certain key pointers that have been specified by United Nations. So all these keywords, all these pointers should help you in designing the problem-based learning statements. So you can give the problems, open-ended problems to your solutions, and should ask them to come up with the solutions to that. And further, you may get some innovative ideas from the students as well. So we need to promote innovation among students, that if they have come up with the innovative solution, innovative ideas, and then they can go in for the patents and all. So sustainability lab, we have already talked. So that means our education system should be focused on the sustainability as well, apart from the core courses that we are mentioning, or we can have our core courses aligned in our direction that they are helping to achieve the sustainable environment. So that is a pedagogy that we need to follow, that needs a refinement at the level of a curriculum, that needs the refinement at the level of teaching and learning, that needs the refinement in the process of generating assessments, and that needs the refinement in the process of assessing the students as well, that how they should be assessed on these courses. So this is a deliberate effort that as educationalists, as academicians, we should do for the society, for the betterment of a society. So a few things I have taken from the references. There are three pillars of sustainability that has been worked upon. One is the social, one is the environment, and one is the economic sustainability. So all these are contributing to make a sustainable environment. So these are the three important pillars on which we can work on. Irrespective of your discipline, you can contribute in any of these areas. If you are contributing into a social area, maybe economic area, maybe environment area. So based on your disciplines, you can target a one particular pillar and can design your courses, design your assessments, and design your projects, which you can give to the students according to that. You can give the case studies to the students, and they can come up well with these ideas. Now, I've categorized some SDGs under these three pillars. We talk of the social, there are 6 SDGs that are aligned to this social pillar. There are 4 SDGs which are aligned to this economic pillar, and there are 5 SDGs which are aligned to environment. So you can pick up any particular area on which you want to contribute, any particular pillar, and then you can work according to these SDGs. Now, how it can be worked, one thing is that you can make your curriculum like that, or maybe introduce a new courses like that, or otherwise you can have certain activities which are specifically focusing on any of the SDGs. Though we might be doing it for our own purpose, but then it has to be a very, very specific effort, or concentrated effort should be there, where we focus on a particular SDG and come up with the solution to that problem. And maybe as an academic community, we can share that solution with others as well, so that the whole community, whole society is benefited. Okay. The third focus area of my presentation, which is a smart learning spaces, which I'm calling SLS. Now, smart learning spaces have few goals. There are 2 important goals. One is creating active learning classrooms, and secondly, technology enhanced active learning team. So these are the two goals of smart learning spaces that are being, talked about in the universities and the education institutes. So when we talk of the ACL, it is not only the infrastructure part, the ambience, the sitting plan, the interiors of that particular classroom, but then it has to be a technology enhanced as well. That means we should have a smart boards, we should have a projectors, we should have multiple screens, we should have the design so that the students can interact and can work in a teams. So this is the visualization of a smart learning spaces that we can create for our students. But then if we talk of a sustainability, we can always create a smart learning spaces by making it more sustainable. So while we achieve the goal for the smart learning spaces, we can have the sustainable classrooms as well. So our work as an educationalist, our work as an academician is to mix the two things: how to create a smart learning spaces, how to achieve the goals of the smart learning spaces, and at the same time, how we can make it a sustainable. So we'll talk about this more. So, if it is a sustainable practices for SLS, three things that we can focus on: educating, enforcing, and assessing. Educate the students, enforce certain laws, and assess what they are being doing. So, in a smart classrooms or in a smart learning spaces, we should focus on the waste management. Now, a lot of your students might be working with the innovative ideas of, compost bins that or smart dust bins that they must have created. Encourage your students to, make a prototype of that, and maybe you can put those prototypes into the classrooms. They will have the sense of feeling that they are contributing something. Though it is very easy to buy, already existing compost bin and put it in the classrooms, but when it is the target is given to the students to work in this direction, they will do it with their full heart and soul, and then they will understand the meaning, the importance of such things. So encourage the students to work in this direction and give them a space and ask them, to make this classroom smart. Let them come up with the ideas. So for the waste management, we can talk of the compost bins that we can put in the classroom itself, so that whichever waste is being generated by the students, that has to be, disposed of, taken care of then and there itself. Then focuses on reduce, reuse, and recycle. We use markers, a lot of markers, but generally sometimes we use refillable markers, but sometimes we just throw it off and say, okay, who will refill it? But then it has to be put into practice that we have to refill all these things. These are small little things, but if I talk in terms of how many markers are being used, or maybe a chalks are being used, if I talk of the markers, maybe on average in one day, one marker per class is being used. So one day, one marker per class, if you have, say 70, 80 classes throughout the university, or 100 classes, that means 100 markers are being used. If you are refilling that 100 markers, that means you are reducing the plastic waste. So that is important for us. Reusable pens. Generally, we encourage even our kids as well as our students, okay, throw the pen. Who will get the refills? Throw the pens. Okay. You will get the pen of 10 rupees and you will get the refill of 6, 7 rupees. And what is the point? Just throw it and buy the new one. But then we can deliberately tell to our students that let's not, create more waste. For the refill, again, it's a small part we can do, but discarding a pen itself is again generating a lot of plastic. So these are small little initiatives. Again, you make the people green, make the movements green, and make the campus green. So that is the purpose. Food packaging, a lot of the students, some are bringing their tiffins, some are bringing, food items from their home. Though most of them are, having it from the canteens, from the mess and all. But again, the food packaging is important. We have stopped using the cloths for that. Now, If I talk of the bags, we have come up with the solution that, publicize that use cloth bags, don't use plastic bags. Same thing we can do for the food packaging. Use the cloth packaging material. Okay, so maybe we can take this initiative. We can encourage the students or promote these things to the students. Though it is a very minute, very small little things, and we may feel, okay, what difference will it make? If in our university we can tell to 10, 20,000 students that, okay, out of that maybe 10% might be getting the lunch boxes or so. So if we tell to our students, you wrap it into the cloth, maybe cloth material or cloth packaging material, that won't make much difference. But definitely, yes, it is, because how many universities in the India, how many universities in the world, how many students are there? 10% of that will make a huge amount. Okay, that will not only save the plastic waste or other waste which is harmful for us, but that will also put less burden on the packaging industry. It's not that their jobs will be at stake or industry will be at stake. It is that they will also come up with the innovative ideas of having a different packaging material, which is biodegradable. They will focus, they will shift to that direction as well. So that is how we have to educate our students. And sometimes we need to enforce as well, maybe in terms of, some penalties. I'm not saying, say, monetary, penalties, but there may be another penalties, or there may be, encouragement that we can tell to the students, okay, the best student, or the student who has contributed a lot to the environment can be awarded. So these type of initiatives are very small, little initiatives, maybe very kiddish ones, but yes, they are going to make an impact in the campuses. Then the conservation of resources. Every year on 23rd March, we observe Earth Hour, where around the whole world from, say, 8:30 to 9:30 in the night, or 8 to 9 in the night, they say that you switch off all your lights, switch off all your, say, LEDs or all electric appliances, and contribute to the betterment of Earth. So why not, encourage this practice throughout the year? Why not tell to your students that, okay, this half an hour will be Earth Hour every day, or maybe every week or every month, where you are saving energy? Half an hour will not make much difference. So a small little practices that we have, a small little initiatives we have, a small little sensitization or education to the students we have, it is going to make a lot of impact. So it is everyone's responsibility to contribute to this. It is not only the responsibility of a specific family, the parents to tell to the kids, or the organizations or the government telling to the people, but it is the individual's responsibility, that is to be come up with. So the next point is how to assess the sustainable practices. The assessment is important. What we are doing, how to quantify it, how to check it, in which direction we are going, whether we are actually contributing something or not. So there are audit frameworks. You can get the frameworks, which are easily available, or you can contact some organizations which are NGOs and all. They can provide you the audit frameworks. And there are government organizations, that have their own audit framework to assess the energy usage, water conservation, and waste management. So try to do the assessing and auditing yourself to see how much you are contributing. Student engagement survey is important, that you should understand that how your students are contributing in this area. So some of the students may not be knowing that actually they're contributing or not, but some of the students would actually be contributing, and they can give you an idea that how they are doing it. And it would be a kind of motivation for another students as well who are joining the League of Green People. So tools and solutions, there are tools available, there are solutions available to assess your energy usage and to optimize that. You can use those tools, certain are freely available. You can make your own schedules, make your own assessments, make your own tools as well, and try to optimize the resources. Now, it's important that we need to check the assessment and the impact that it is making into nearby communities. So each education institute, a university, should handhold with the near local by areas, communities, and local by, say, some villages or local areas or locals of that particular area, and should always, check about what is the impact it is going to make. It can be, in terms of checking the soil, type of a soil, pollutants in the soil. It can be, checking on the pollutants in the water in that area. It can be, just checking the what kind of industrial waste is being generated in that area. It can be checking the air pollution. So all these are research areas. You can work in this area to check that how you are contributing to a clean air, green air, maybe clean soil, and other areas as well. So these are the hardcore research topics that we can work on. And government is supporting a lot by giving funds for the projects in this area. So you can always work in that area. And meanwhile, you can assess, you can check and quantify that what is the impact in the society that you are making. There are certain standards which are available, across countries. Universal standards are there for the energy usage, for the energy, showcasing and all. So that benchmarks you can use for checking or auditing your own sustainable practices as well. So key to sustainability is collaborate, curate an action plan for self, and act accordingly. So these are the three things. It's nothing rocket science. Nothing is very complex in this. We have to collaborate, understand how we can contribute, understand where we can contribute, curate an action plan for this, and act accordingly. But we as academicians are at a, can definitely leverage the power of this power to achieve the sustainability, to contribute to the sustainability, because we can work in the direction of educating our students, collaborating with them, collaborating with other organizations to work in this direction. We can also work in the research areas ourselves, which are leading to sustainability as well. So all our initiatives should be focused on to sustainability. All our activities should be focused on the sustainability. All our curriculum should be focused on sustainability to some extent. And that should be, all the students should be sensitized about this. This is the major thing that we can do as academicians. Few case studies quickly I will tell. There are universities, I have just put a note of it, that how the top universities of the world are contributing into this. We are doing our own part, but there are certain universities who are doing extremely well in these areas as well. So Cornell University, 36% of their researchers are working only in the sustainability area, so which is a large number. University of California have enrolled, students, 8,500 students of their total strength, which is almost maybe a 50% of the strength, which is offering a program of peer-to-peer sustainability outreach, where the students are graduating or students are, educating other students in the peer group about the sustainability. There are internship opportunities that they are providing to the students, in the sustainability area. So that is a very good initiative that is being taken. Stanford University reports about 67.4% of the total energy is coming from clean and renewable sources, which is a huge amount. Considering their size of their campus, it's a huge amount. So that means they are contributing a lot into the sustainability of the environment. Arizona State University has put a restrictions on their purchases, and they say that the practices that they follow is that you have to purchase a biodegradable and phosphate-free cleaners. They have to choose a cleaning products labeled as EPA safer choice. So that is the criteria they have set. So no purchase which is adding, to the contamination of the air, soil, or water. So that is their focus area. So many other universities are doing their part, but how we can improve, how we can increase, how we can grow in this area, that is important for all of us. So this was all from my side. A few references that I have taken, from which I have, taken these references and all the studies that they have performed, just for your reference. And we should definitely go on a journey to the sustainable world. This is important because we have to live in this world. We have to face the world. We have to have a better health. We have to live to the fullest. So that is why sustainability is important for us. So we need to contribute. Actually, we need to plan for it. We need to focus for it. It is not just about the SDGs. It is not just about putting the logos. It is not just about, putting few sentences. It is about to actually work in that direction, which is important. So thank you all. Though the topic was very different, I know a lot of you might be doing some work in this area and maybe actively involved at your own places. But there are few things that we can further work on, few things that we can improve on, but we should have a specific goal that in which direction we want to contribute. Pick one particular small little point and start working in that direction and become a role model for others as well. So that is important. Thank you all. I would appreciate if any one of you is taking some initiatives of such sort in your campuses or at your own personal level. They can share their ideas, because it is again a collaboration that is important, because we learn from others, we understand from others, and same practices we can try to implement, in our areas for the better environment.